Alright, so we have some serious celebrity updates for you. Hailey Bieber has now opened up about the effect of the Selena Gomez drama on her mental health. Alwyn was spotted walking around London looking extremely rough, and one of Elon Musk's rockets exploded mid-air. Okay, so first up, it turns out the last couple of months have taken a major toll on Hailey Bieber. The 26-year-old model recently opened up about her experience coming out of the online drama that started with Selena Gomez. She took to her Instagram stories on Wednesday and admitted that she's been feeling fragile after having a very difficult start to the year. She said, "I like to make jokes about how I feel because sometimes it's easier than admitting I'm having a hard time. But truthfully, since 2023 started, I've had some of the saddest, hardest moments I've ever had in my adult life, and my mind and my emotions have been fragile to say the least. And I know so many other people feel the same way I feel, so just know that you're not alone." In a second post, she concluded by saying, "Let's keep being there for one another. Let's be there for loved ones and friends and family and strangers. Let's just be there for people. Let's keep showing up for each other even when it's hard." These messages just go to show you how much Hailey's mental health has been affected since the online attack started. The latest thing that fans have accused her of is copying Selena's cooking show. Last week, the model launched her very own YouTube show called What's in My Kitchen, which comes 3 weeks after Selena Plus Chef premiered on Max. The show is a spin-off of Hailey's other YouTube series called Who's in My Bathroom, where she interviews guests like Kendall Jenner, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Emily Ratajkowski literally in her own bathroom. What's really funny is that a ton of other celebrities have gone on to create their very own cooking shows, even if they don't have amazing skills in the kitchen. But for whatever reason, fans have decided that Hailey's new show is a straight-up rip-off of Selena's idea. Last month, Hailey asked her to get her 403 million Instagram followers to stop sending her death threats. Selena then posted a forceful message calling for the bullying to come to an end. She took to her Instagram story and revealed that Hailey has reached out to her privately. She said, "This isn't what I stand for. No one should have to experience hate or bullying. I've always advocated for kindness and really want this all to stop." After she pleaded with fans to be kinder to Hailey, the model praised her for speaking out during escalating tensions between their fan bases. She made a response post on Instagram and said, "The last few weeks have been very hard for everyone involved, and millions of people are seeing so much hate around this, which is extremely harmful. Her and I have been discussing these last few weeks how to move past this ongoing narrative between her and I." She went on to say, "It's moments like this when social media platforms only create extreme division among people, when things are taken out of context." Another person that can attest to this is Kylie Jenner. She was briefly involved in the beginning of the drama and got accused of teaming up with Hailey to make fun of Selena's appearance. Kylie immediately quashed the rumor and claimed that fans were making something out of nothing, which is something Selena actually agreed with. In the weeks since the bullying reached its peak, many people are now looking back and questioning why this attack on Hailey was so vicious, and wondering who was really responsible for starting it. In fact, there's a growing number of fans who've sort of switched sides and decided that Selena is the one who was playing victim. But if we're being honest, there's nothing that pop culture loves more than a celebrity rivalry, especially if it's between two women. At a certain point, this drama had everyone in a chokehold, and sooner or later they felt the urge to pick a side. One reason why it was so easy to go against Hailey is because of the narrative that she was a mean girl. She was painted as this one-dimensional character who only cares about external validation, like boys and status. That's why she even got dragged for taking Justin's last name when they got married. One viral Twitter post said, "It's funny to me how Hailey slapped the Bieber last name on her online presence immediately, while other celebrities stick with their maiden names, because they are already established on their own." So they were basically accusing Hailey of using Justin's last name to increase her social status. Selena, on the other hand, was painted as the queen of kindness, someone who values things like female friendship above all else. This is the kind of narrative that's been going around for more than 5 years, or ever since Justin seemingly dumped Selena to be with Hailey. It didn't help that for the last couple of months, most of the discourse has taken place on TikTok, which is the perfect breeding ground for fan theories. So it's no wonder that things went from 0 to 100 really quick. At least now that the drama has died down a little bit, we can take a step back and try to understand how things got so out of hand. Okay, now have you guys seen these latest photos of Alwyn? The man looks like he's really going through it. The 32-year-old actor looked disheveled as he was spotted for the first time since news of his breakup became public. He was photographed popping out of a hotel in London on Thursday as he was talking on his phone. He wore a fuzzy black zippered jumper, baggy blue jeans, and tan work boots while carrying a caramel-colored cardigan. Judging from his appearance, he seems as though he hasn't gotten very much sleep. Either that or he's just enjoying his new life life as a single guy and there's nothing to worry about. Now, Swifties have been dragging him a lot these days, so when this set of photos came out, you can pretty much guess their reaction. I mean, some of these tweets about him are downright cruel. One person wrote, "Joe Alwyn came out of his relationship with Taylor Swift aged the same way Obama did after 8 years in office." Another person said, "How does Joe Alwyn look so divorced when they weren't even married? Like he just lost the kids in a custody battle." No matter which corner of the internet you turn to, it seems like everyone is attacking him. It's actually getting super vicious because it seems like everything is fair game. Fans have even started making fun of his acting career or lack thereof. Someone tweeted, "The biggest punishment for Joe Alwyn is actually to watch his multiple failed attempts of trying to be a successful and acclaimed actor." Others have accused him of being fame hungry and claiming that all the projects he chooses means he wants to become the next Paul Mescal. Now, this is extremely harsh to say the least, but it's not the first time we've heard this kind of theory. An inside source spoke to Daily Mail and claimed that Taylor's success played a significant role in their breakup. They said, "It's been hard for Joe trying to make it in Hollywood and not quite becoming leading man material while dating one of the most famous women in the world over the last 6 years. It was easier during the pandemic when it was just the two of them, but once things returned to normal, Taylor Swift the superstar emerged, and their differences were even more apparent. They really made a go of it and tried everything they could, but ultimately were unable to save the relationship." So he was either uncomfortable or frustrated with the fact that she has this amazing career, while his is a lot more low-key. Joe is most well known for the TV adaptation of Sally Rooney's Conversations with Friends. He plays Nick, who is a love interest of the main character Frances. Aside from that, he has had a few roles in major films like Mary Queen of Scots and The Favourite. If you look at his projects on IMDb, he seems to do a lot of cute little indie films as opposed to massive blockbusters. So while he's not exactly Tom Cruise, calling him a failed actor is a massive stretch. Still, it seems like the internet has pretty much turned against him, and they're digging up different clips of him to try and spot any potential red flags that Taylor really should have noticed. One of the craziest things that has now resurfaced is a video of Shawn Mendes calling him untrustworthy. Back in September of 2021, he was strapped down for a lie detector test and forced to reveal his true thoughts about Joe Alwyn. Shawn instantly became nervous because he was trying to choose his words very carefully. He said, "I've never personally met Joe, but he looks like a sweet guy." And then immediately the polygraph examiner called him out and said, "You're not telling the truth, you're being deceptive." Once he was feeling the pressure, Shawn then admitted that he might be lying a little bit, and he went on to explain that Joe has got a kind of villain look about him. Quote, "I mean, he looks like a nice guy, but any movement could turn him into a villain. He's got really blue eyes, and I struggle with eyes that blue. I find it easier to trust brown eyes." Shawn then paused before admitting that he might have talked way too much about him and made himself look suspicious. But was he actually onto something? Just because someone has piercing blue eyes that stare into your soul, does that make them untrustworthy? That's something that's definitely worth talking about. So how is Taylor doing in all of this? Well, she was seen out and about a few times in New York City, grabbing dinner with her friends Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. She obviously filled them in about everything that's been going on, and they decided to support her by unfollowing Joe on Instagram. This happened almost immediately after the three of them had dinner together, which kind of makes you wonder what tea was spilled during that dinner. Soon after, Taylor's brother Austin Swift also unfollowed him, as well as all three of the Haim sisters. So as more and more people in Taylor's inner circle start to turn against him, it makes you think that there might be more to this breakup than we knew about. Alright, so did you guys hear what happened with Elon Musk's rocket? It exploded mid-flight. Yesterday, SpaceX launched its Starship rocket for the first time, but it never actually reached space. It blew up in the air. Thankfully, no crew were on board, so there were no lives lost. The rocket was the result of years of work for SpaceX, and it was the largest and most powerful rocket ever built. So what went wrong? Well, even before the explosion, there were a lot of technical issues. They were initially hoping to launch on Monday, but a pressure valve in the Super Heavy booster apparently froze. After that, SpaceX teams worked to resolve the issue in order to make a second attempt on Thursday. The rocket flew for nearly 4 minutes, and it was able to separate from the Super Heavy booster before it eventually blew up. But was it the failure that some people are calling it? No, not really. SpaceX engineers still class this mission as a success. Right from the beginning, they repeatedly stressed that the launch was just an experiment, and they said that simply getting Starship off the launch pad would be a milestone. In fact, just from this launch, they will have gathered a ton of data which will be applied to the next flight. Elon Musk also seemed pretty pleased with the result. On Twitter, he wrote, "Congratulations SpaceX team on an exciting test launch of Starship. I learned a lot for the next test launch in a few months." The chief of NASA, Bill Nelson, also congratulated the team on Twitter. Twitter. He wrote, "Every great achievement throughout history has demanded some level of calculated risk, because with great risk comes great reward. Starship is the same rocket that Elon hopes will someday take people to Mars. It's designed to carry both cargo and passengers beyond Earth, and it's a big part of NASA's plan to return astronauts to the moon." 2 years ago, SpaceX won a $3 billion contract from NASA to use Starship as a part of their Artemis moon program, which would deliver astronauts to the lunar surface from their own SLS rocket. Apart from the launch, Musk has also been in the news for his controversial comments about AI. The tech billionaire recently sat down with Fox News host Tucker Carlson and talked about all the dangers of artificial intelligence. In the first part of the interview, he advocated for the regulation of AI and said that it was more dangerous than cars or rockets and it has the potential to destroy humanity. He also claimed that ChatGPT has a liberal bias because it's being trained to be politically correct. He then talked about his own plans to create an alternative AI chatbot that he is going to call TruthGPT. He describes it as a maximum truth-seeking AI that tries to understand the nature of the universe. Musk was an early investor in OpenAI, which is a startup behind ChatGPT. He co-chaired its board in 2015, but only lasted there for a few years before resigning in early 2018. Apparently, he came up with the name and the concept of the startup himself. As for why he left, well, it was partly because he had some differences of opinion with other members of the board. The reaction to his latest interview was really interesting. Some people agreed with him and others thought his comments were straight up dangerous and irresponsible. So if you've seen the full interview, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.